Let's go, let's grow, let's go, let's grow. Because you already know we've been manifesting this lifetime, y'all. And what I tell y'all the last probably like 2, 3, maybe 4 episodes. I don't know. Because I put in that work. But regardless, I told y'all my favorite spiritual couple was coming on the show. And bam, look at Dane sitting right there in the flesh. Look at him shining. Yes, sir. So, y'all already know we are about to tap back in with another lit episode because we are dropping nothing but life changing content on the Steady.Stepping.Podcast and all throughout the lands. So, no job too big or small. Just call RGC. We are your favorite property management and preservation company here to serve you from A to Z with no headache in between. Let's go. Let's grow. Let's roll into this podcast because I'm excited. So, y'all go ahead and introduce y'allself, favorite spiritual couple.
I'm
Divine
Ray.
blessings. I'm Sahad.
Let's try it again. Divine
Blessings.
Blessings. I'm Ray.
I'm Sahad.
And we're your favorite spiritual couple.
Ding.
We are spiritual integrators, meaning we help you connect mind, body, and spirit in order to take you to your next level of self-mastery. So if you are someone who is struggling with emotional imbalance, limiting beliefs, or anything like that, we help you find the true happiness within to take you to your next level.
Yes, because that true happiness starts within.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us, Destine. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited to be here with you.
Hey, I appreciate y'all for pulling up on the squad. Y'all super busy out there helping people really get to their next level. And I'm just honored that y'all wanted to come on the show. Like anybody who's willing to give us their time on the platform and just really add value and help save so many people. I'm looking to see if we on Facebook too on my phone. If y'all want to check it out too, we should be. Oh yeah, we live. So y'all already know. Go tap in with me on Facebook. Steady Stepping. Y'all already know, Mr.Steadystepper. And let's flow. So how long y'all been on this spiritual journey, first of all?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
He has a
Hey, I got the clip ready. Got the clip ready with him. Listen.
Okay, so I started first on my entrepreneurial journey and like overcoming mindset and learning about like what are successful people out there doing. And it kind of led into the spiritual journey. So I found that, successful people, they eat a certain way, they have certain rituals first thing in the rising. And I was wondering, like, I'm all about the psychology, like why people do the things they do. And so back in 2014 is when my entrepreneurial journey began. And so I just started studying and studying and studying. And I would say 2017 was when I really started to integrate spirituality into my practices. So what I mean by that is sometimes you got to hit a little rock bottom before you decide to tap in and get aligned. And that's what happened to me in 2017, like literally lost everything. Like I was a victim of fraud. I had just first started my first LLC in 2017 and was a victim of fraud. Like right after that, they completely cleaned my account. I had like $3,000 in the negative. It was crazy. And like a couple weeks after that, I was sitting at a red light and some kids smashed into the back of my car, completely totaled my vehicle. A couple weeks after that, it was just like y'all seen series of unfortunate events. It was like one thing after another, after another, after another. And I was living in Las Vegas. I'm originally from Chicago. And so I was living in Las Vegas at the time. And after the car accident, I started getting eviction notices because, my account was wiped out. I wasn't working and I was building a business, but I couldn't do nothing because my car was total. It was just a lot going on. So I decided to call my father, and we had a little strained relationship at the time. So I called my dad to ask him like for some help. And he kind of brushed me off. He was like, "We about to go to St. Louis for your brother's baseball tournament." And I was like, "I'm about to get kicked out of my apartment and that's what okay." And in that moment, I was so mad. I was so angry, but it was the biggest lesson in my life, honestly, because I had to realize that nobody was coming to save me. If you wanted,
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to learn how to walk forward, you needed to stop taking one step forward and two steps back. So I really had to sit with myself. And sometimes it takes for you to lose everything. Like, and when I say lose everything, I ended up moving like 5 different times that year. And a friend of mine who we went to high school together, we just so happened to be in Vegas at the same time. He was moving back to Chicago. And so he was like, well, I got this studio apartment. You could stay here. My parents paid the last 2 months of rent. So you could stay there rent free. Rent and electricity. That's all I had, right? I didn't have no Wi-Fi, nothing like that. So I was just sitting there. My phone had got shut off. So I was sitting there, no phone. And I could connect my phone. iPhones, you could connect your phone to Wi-Fi. So I would walk to
Yeah.
Denny's like down the street and connect the phone to Wi-Fi. It was a struggle. But in that space, I had so much time to reflect and overcome. I started reading, I started my rituals, and that is really where my spirituality began. I started meditating and affirmations and gratitude, and it began and it developed and it bloomed into this beautiful, I guess, garden of spirituality. And so, yeah, I would say 2017 is kind of how I really started to embody this work. And then I started to realize, oh my gosh, this is working. I have to share this with people. I have to spread the word, because after I started doing that, I got 2 jobs. I got a job at Denny's, which is hilarious. And I got a job at Target. And it was a little struggle for a little minute, but I learned how to raise my vibration. I went on a cleanse, the master cleanse, actually. This is not planned. It just so happened to be planned. I was talking about this book in one of my sessions yesterday with a client. The Master Cleanse. I started that to raise my vibration, and I found a correlation between what you eat and what you put in your body to the vibrational frequency of your body, your energy field. And I just started going deep, 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 and I went vegan. And like that is what really started my journey. After, I would say, 5 days into that cleanse, I had got a call about that car accident I told y'all about. They were like, hey, we got your money, here's $6,500. I had bought a car before the
Peace and
week was
blessings.
out. You know what I'm saying? And then 2 months later, I started off as a hostess at Denny's. They promoted me to a server. And then a couple months later, they promoted me to a manager. And it was just like momentum. It was a domino effect of things. And it all started from me learning how to meditate daily, from me expressing my gratitude daily, from me learning how to focus on what I wanted and not to focus on the pain of where I was. So
That's powerful. Man, peace and blessings to that. How about you, Brother Sahat?
So this has been a culmination of many lifetimes leading up to this lifetime, but let's just stick with this lifetime. Uh,
Hey, brother. They ain't ready for all them lifetimes that we don't really have the opportunity to travel through on this. Not on this one. Not on the first episode. So that's why they got to keep coming back so they can hear about those other lifetimes that we get to travel in between.
Man.
absolutely, absolutely.
Most definitely.
So in this lifetime, I came in like really tapped in. I was seeing spirits when I was like 2 years old. I remember things when I was like several months old, um, and it just started to really grow and develop as I started to read. So actually started reading comic books when I was like 3, 4 years old. And when I was going to the comic book store one plasma one day, I found the New Age section. It was like right across from the comic book section. This was when I was like 7 years old. And so I started to see like, wait a minute, the stuff that they talking about in the X-Men, where they can like read minds, move stuff with their mind, they can instantaneous heal. This was real stuff because they were putting that's what a lot of the New Age books were talking about: psychokinesis and ESP and how to see and read the aura. So I just started going in on esoteric knowledge. And I knew that there was magic within me, and there had to be magic within other people. But I knew for sure that there was magic within me that we all could tap into. if the people writing these books were able to tap into, I knew that I was able to tap into it as well. So I started my journey like early on. People were always coming to me for like issues that were going on in their life. I was like everybody's psychologist, like like an unsolicited psychologist, and I was like, you know what, like. I know y'all dealing with some stuff. It's something energetically, and looking at y'all signs, because I was big into astrology at the time, which evolved into cosmology, how the flow of the universe actually is. I started to see in astrology, when I went deep in doing like natal charts, that people had imbalances in their energetic fields, in the elements that they had from each planetary location in their charts. So I started to create these little tinctures and elements that they could carry around and things like that. I started making rooms. I was making all kind of stuff that you see like in movies and cartoons, where these people are like doing magic. Like I was doing that stuff as a child, but I was the only person doing it because I grew up very religious. I grew up 7-day Adventist. My family did not play around with that
Oh
magic,
wow.
and so a lot of that stuff was hidden. And when my mom did find my books and some of my trinkets and things like that, she like threw them away, burnt them, like, get this devil stuff out of here. But in my spirit, I knew that it wasn't dark or anything like that. And the fact that these spirits were drawn to me, because I saw spirits like full on from like age 2 on up, and it just the activity just grew. Like everywhere I went, there were different spirits, the spirits that transition in that area, or spirits of beings that had never taken on physical bodies. So I was experiencing a lot, and the only thing that I really had to go towards as far as guidance was within myself. So, I would just like meditate and ask myself, what is this that I'm experiencing? And whenever I did experience like a negative energy around me, because I did see these shadow people, these negative energy beings that manifested from um, my shadow, my darkness. It had a physical manifestation that transpired in my life, and it was a huge catalyst because it really taught me how to face my fears head on. A lot of people will talk about the shadow work, the demons within them. Like mine actually manifested into something physical because of how powerful my mind is.
And even other people saw them too.
Yeah, I had multiple people that saw these beings. They were terrified, but it was like when they saw them, something in my spirit was like, just run after them and then disappear. And then they would just disappear. They would run away and disappear. So my spirit was training me like, hey, you are everything. You are a reflection of God. You are source incarnate, as we all are. And my journey grew from there as I started to see people in my family transition from health issues, and so I started to study Reiki, energy healing modalities. I became a certified natural health consultant so that I could help my family, because I felt like, hey, I got this piece of paper. I went to school for this. Y'all should listen to what I got to say because I'm gonna help y'all health get better.
Yeah.
And doesn't exactly work like that. So I realized that what I had to do was I had to transform myself. And in doing so, that because we are connected on so many levels, let's just start with the blood connection between our families and ourselves. When you work on yourself on an energetic, on a genetic level, it really changes your family around you. And I've seen that from family members who are running the streets, doing hood rat stuff, uh, just doing some Tony Montana, gangster stuff. And when I started to shift my energy, I started to see that when they had that catalyst that shifted them, like that near death experience, what have you. I had a cousin that was shot in the face, and he actually lived through it. And in that moment, I gave him Reiki in the bed, and he was like, "Cuz, like, I just feel different. Like, thank you. Like I feel that pain subside. And now my cousin went from selling drugs to and guns to selling T-shirts that say my purpose is, and then there's a blank box so you can write your purpose in. And this led him to get on stage with Tony Robbins.
That cousin?
Yeah, that
He was
cousin.
shot in the face?
He was shot in the face.
Oh my
So,
God.
Oh
um,
wow.
man, I've just seen such a transformation just from in myself that I see projected in my family. So this really inspired me to fully go into this spiritual teachings and helping people to remember the magnificence within them. Um, because if you had told me like 10, 20 years ago that I was going to be teaching people or doing what I do, I wouldn't have believed you. I'd be like,
Yeah.
nah, dude, I'm about to go out here and make some video games that are going to spit like y'all going to love, because I love to write. And that was one of my gifts growing up, is my imagination, my genie, my nations of genies that are in my cells. We have this superpower that is our imagination that allows us to create with pure intention and focus those things that we will to manifest into this life.
Mm-hmm.
So I just incorporated everything because at a young age I started to really cognize that it wasn't just this or that. It wasn't just mind or body or spirit, it's all of it. So it's there has to be an integration, there has to be a balance, a unity.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I
So I'm
love,
just out here being magic
yeah.
now.
I love to use science to back up spiritual principles. Like, like he said, like it's in your cells. Like, let's talk about the quantumness of your DNA. You know, I've I was raised Catholic, you know, and my mom's Haitian, my dad is American, and so both of them were Catholic growing up, and I went to the American church and to the Haitian church, and I knew the whole sermon in both languages, in English and in French. And it just didn't resonate with me personally, you know, just religion. And so I was never like, oh, well, show me the science, but when I learned about quantum physics, quantum mechanics, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so interesting, because I could apply those principles to psychology and make it make sense. You know what I mean? Like, make it make sense. I don't understand how is your God a jealous God? Like, I didn't get all that stuff. Like, he's supposed to be
Man.
loved. How is that jealous? And why is it a he? Because he's don't. Okay, listen, we're not gonna go into that. But what I love is being able to really take science and apply it to spirituality to literally make it make sense.
Because it's all connected.
It is all connected, and that's why we call ourselves spiritual integrators. So, like, I've had someone recently tell me in the last few weeks that, like, I don't know, that word spirituality, it might scare people. Good. Good. Let it scare you, because we are here to bring the light and bring the knowledge that what you refer to as spirituality might be considered religion. But that has nothing to do with who you are as a being. We are all spiritual beings having this human experience.
And
Hello.
we're all given equal opportunities and equal circumstances to um, respond unconsciously or consciously, and or positively or negatively. So when you bring awareness to everything in our lives is a catalyst, where whether it's something that you're doing through your actions or someone is doing through their actions that is either causing you lots of joy or something that would cause you to be upset, how you respond instead of react in that situation brings that navigation online where you can flow rhythmically with the cosmos instead of fighting against the stream. You know, like the song "Row, row, row your boat gently down the."
Hey,
You're
hey, you know
flowing.
what you just did? You just, cause y'all just been sitting here talking, and I'm like, damn, they don't took over the show, but they can have it, cause I'm just over here flowing in my own, like that's what, and I was just like, I consciously have to remind myself that I do be on the podcast, because when I have people on the show, like, and we just talking, like I begin to imagine exactly what they're saying, like in real time. So forgive me for my facial expressions. That's
Oh,
one.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But as you was just saying that, like just flowing with the cosmos, you just put me in the Nemo movie when the turtles were in the
The
flow.
EAC, dude.
Yes, like, and have y'all seen the new Avatar?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to be a spoiler alert, but that movie made me cry at the end because of the connection that he had, because he had a son. That's what got me. But that movie right there had my mind, like I swear my mind went to a whole nother dimension while I was in that movie. And I went and saw it in IMAX.
Mm.
Mm.
And me being a spiritual being, that just brought it so much more to reality. I was just like, I'm going back to this dream now. I can do all of that
Life
because we
is
know
but a dream.
movies, huh?
Life is but a dream.
Hmm.
Isn't it? And
Hmm.
we get to create the scenes.
Hmm.
Like,
And that's kind of what we were talking about when it comes to like science too. It's really amazing because everything that you are creating is stemmed from your unconscious mind.
that subconscious. Y'all remember Steady Steppers? We talked about that subconscious mind now.
Yes.
Them synchronicities.
Yes. Because your unconscious mind, what it's doing is it's working 24/7. 24/7 to bring you exactly what the commander, you are the commander, your conscious self is the commander of your ship. And so the subconscious is working in between the two, right? The subconscious and the unconscious, or the conscious and the unconscious. The subconscious is working in between the two. And so what happens is as you command, and that's why what you say is so important. Words are spells. Okay. Words are spells. So when you speak of lack, you are asking, that is a purchase order to the universe to bring you more of that. Man, I'm broke. Is you now?
Yes, you are, because you just said
Right.
it.
That is your purchase order. Even if you don't have any money in your account, you are a spiritual being and everything on this planet is abundant. So if you're experiencing that, then that is a signal that something within your energetic field is out of alignment. And it's okay because we all experience that. We're humans. You know, we all experience some type of adversity or challenge or friction in life. It is your job to learn to take that for what it is and learn how to manipulate the energy in order to attract what it is that you desire.
That's
And
fact.
that's part of that inner alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you bring awareness to these things, then you can respond instead of react. You know how to
Mm-hmm.
flow gently down the stream instead of fighting that current.
Mm-hmm.
For real. Could you please break down what alchemy is to anybody that may not over?
Ooh, we about to get
Absolutely.
spicy.
Cause
So
check this out now. We don't heard. I know a lot of y'all don't heard y'all favorite rappers use alchemy. So let's really overstand the spell in which they are creating based on language, because language, like Ray said, is a spell. Words have so much more power than you truly really give them life for and credit. So let's use words in an analogy for energy. So you are the tree. Words are the sun. The words give you life. And your water is the nutrients that you're listening to. But that's just something I wanted y'all to think about when we talk about words and spelling and stuff like that. But go ahead and explain to them, Sahab, what alchemy is, brother.
so when you talk about alchemy on the physical level, people tend to think about if they ever heard of the philosopher's stone, this magical artifact that can transmute lead into gold. And yes, there is an alchemy where we can change the alchemical energy of what we are combining into something even more than what it was to begin with. So, say you add a couple of elements together, and each one of those elements do one thing on their own, but when you combine them together, they create something new that does a dozen new things. So when we talk about that on a spiritual level, alchemy is where you bring awareness to that moment when you are angry, when you're sad, when you're experiencing a lower emotion, and you can go within and transmute that. And by transmute, you're nothing is ever destroyed. You can't destroy energy, it's only transformed. So we're transforming, transmuting that negative energy into something positive that feeds us, that allows us to grow. That is that aha moment, like, wow, I have gotten past being able to react, and now I'm in observation mode where I can respond with divine intention.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that happens within once you bring cognization or awareness to how you operate, how you navigate in life, how you react, how you feel towards certain things. When somebody presents an opportunity that may upset you, how are you going within and changing that energy to where it doesn't affect you, and you're sending that person love and understanding and overstanding, because you're operating from a grounded root chakra, you're operating from a compassionate heart, and you're operating from enlightenment from your crown chakra.
What I absolutely love about our union is that he always goes high level, and I'm the one that brings it down to earth for everybody. So if you don't mind, I would love to answer that question as well, just to expand on exactly what
For
Sahat was.
sure. Peace and blessings. Do your thing.
Okay. One, can you hand me the book? Yep. First of all, if y'all don't have this book, go get The Alchemist. Fire book. It has nothing to do with what you think it has to do with. It's about a young man's journey to realization that the alchemy exists within you. So, alchemy, we are all
And
natural
quick.
alchemists.
I'm gonna raise my hand on my own show. Before, let's even break down, because you said something so hot that made it click, and you said all chemical first. So you dropped the Nicole and you put the Ellie, and then
Hmm.
you got alchemy.
Hmm. Alchem, yeah, yeah.
And man, like I can understand now how everything relates to science in life, period.
Hmm.
Because two things together create something new
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Hmm.
But go ahead, back to your point.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. We are natural alchemists because we breathe in oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide. That is alchemy. You breathe in one chemical and you exhale, you convert it within your body and you exhale it into something else. That is alchemy. When you go into the kitchen and you chopping up your mushrooms and your bell peppers and your onions, and you go ahead and put it together and put a little sauce, a little flavor, a little seasoning, that is alchemy, because you are taking different components and you are creating something new. Baking a cake is alchemy, because you need to take the flour separately, the sugar, the all of these things separately, you put them together to create something new. So alchemy can also be known as transmutation, changing one substance to something else, right? So for example, like when Sahat was saying, like, if someone does something that makes you feel a kind of way, you can bring those emotions inside and change them in order to best serve you and that other person. That is alchemizing your emotions.
And I know that sounds like the process that you go through, and many people be like, well, how do I do that? The easiest way to do that is, for one, express gratitude. When you have that challenging situation and you're like, man, I just wanna, you know what? Here's an opportunity for me to express my self mastery. You know what? Thank you for this opportunity, universe, because there's something that I need to work on within myself. And this is why this situation has presented itself, so that I can express my self mastery. And in that self mastery, you are also realizing that God within you. So when you go within and you know, like, your soul is perfect, your soul is divine. What you are experiencing that is imperfect is this human experience. This is how we get those opportunities, those catalysts to grow and evolve spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, so that we can come into full unity with every aspect of our being. So sum it all up, just express that gratitude and go within and see that God within you. And when you see that God within you and you see that you also have this divine inner child within you, then it allows you to express yourself in a more genuine and divine way.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. And truly, truly being able to learn how to find those spikes of energy, because a lot of time in the conscious mind, and that's what I love about being able to transition between the both, the conscious and the unconscious as beings. Because the thing about when you're in a unconscious state, your mind is less forced to fight those ideas of you already feeling how you really truly felt, like Ray was speaking in the subconscious. So when you speak and think in lack, then your subconscious is in a lacking state. So if this even goes down to the dreaming. So if that's your daily talk or spell over yourself, your dreams are going to be in lack. Dreams are nothing but you traveling to another dimension in a less conscious state of you not being so forceful to fight whatever's going on. Anybody ever wonder how I like to say this? How you ever peed on yourself in a dream, or you was at the restroom in a dream, and then you use the bathroom on yourself? In reality, you was in another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
But when you learn the true power of us as beings and everything that comes into us and through us, how much is created out of us, it's like you then want to be intentional about manipulating that, because then it's like, if I have this much control over everything that happens on my outside, I just control what goes on the inside. Let me be extremely intentional about what's really going on in my environment.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about beings is, and I listen to a lot of Earl Nightingale. Did you know the only difference between us and any other creature is we have a ability to ration? Every other creature, being, bird, pig, giraffe, everything, we are all this. We have everything the same. They just have instinct that either teaches them to fight or flight. We have the decision to say, oh, maybe I'm gonna fight a little bit long. Or you know what? Okay, we're just gonna see I'm gonna stand here and then we're gonna see what to do. Like that's the difference between us two as animal and being. And that's what Avatar kind of really showed me too. But yeah, but this experience, y'all, and y'all know, since the podcast, like even since the podcast has started, like that's why I love the whole creative ability of a podcast. Like shout out to Dave and him planting that seed in me to start the podcast, because I've been able to track myself through this whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and to see the evolution of my speech, to see the evolution of my reactions, and to see the evolution of how I really just operate, and let everybody else experience the same way. Because a lot of people feel like there's a big disconnect between us and million and billionaires like this far, but I'm gonna bridge the gap to show us is this far, because there's only one difference, and that's truly the way they think and what they believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what this connection is doing is it's giving all of us the opportunity to truly connect with people on each and every level, frequency, and conversation level,
Mm-hmm.
because each one of us have a different style of articulation.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of us reach a different audience as far as articulation. So when multiple energies of positive thought come together, can you really fathom the fruits of that tree. Like, really, I'm just in what I love about being such a source of energy. Sometimes I don't really know how everything is going to come out, but as I begin to flow, as my favorite spiritual coach would like to say, as I begin to flow, things start to become clear, and I envision them in my mind. So then I'm able to speak them into reality.
Mm-hmm.
And even like all the like these colors that's with the backdrop, it's wild. Like, oh man, like I sent them a picture of a flower the other day, y'all, and that flower was so vibrant. Oh my good, like the life that was in that flower. See, boop, I'm gonna stop the video right here. We're gonna put the flower in right here. Boom. And I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it. We're gonna cut it and make it happen. But y'all gotta see the flower. Y'all tell them about how intricate that flower looked though. Like I know I wasn't tripping.
It looked like something off Avatar.
It really
Thank
did.
you.
It looked like some Egyptian blue lotus mixed with some other kind of cosmic plant. It looked like several different plants.
So let me say this. You just watched Avatar, right? You saw that flower after Avatar?
Hmm.
That is how powerful your unconscious mind is. Have you ever seen that flower before?
That flower has been in this same backyard that I have been living in this in my parents' house. We moved in this house when I was like 9. These same purple flowers always grow year after year after year
Mm.
in the backyard where I have grown, where I have playing football, where I have my sons now play in the backyard. And damn, you just bought that full circle. Because my perception of reality has changed, I've been able to truly, truly go overstand the real value that is already beneath me.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm able to slow down, go look deeper than just what is in front of me, but go look what's within me.
So let's talk about the power of the mind.
Let's talk about it.
There's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS.
I've heard it.
It determines what you notice, right? So you just said that flower's been in your backyard your whole life, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
But you didn't notice it until you saw the beauty of a brand new land in Avatar.
Yes.
And then now with that brand new perspective, your RAS was like, "Oh my gosh, we like this. We like this. This is important," right? So now you're because what happens is your unconscious mind is taking in information all the time. Chances
Yeah.
are you've seen those flowers before, you just did not recognize them
Mm.
because the RAS did not deem it to be important. But once you saw Avatar and you added so much value and you were talking about it, like this ain't the first time we've talked about Avatar. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
so
telling you, that movie had me like when I left that movie, my mom was just like,
yeah.
Hmm.
And so now the RAS is like, okay, things like Avatar is important. So let me show you. And so now when you saw it, you noticed it in a whole totally different way. So that is why it's important to bring awareness to your thoughts, your conscious thoughts, and important to bring awareness to your language because the RAS is always listening. And whatever you say or whatever you focus on or continuously think about, that is what the RAS deems to be important. And then it signifies the unconscious mind is like, okay, here's the report. These are all the things that, the captain said is important today. Bring more of this, right? And then you bring more of that into your reality. So that's exactly why when people focus on things like synchronicities, 1111, 333, 444, etc., you see that, oh my gosh, I just saw 888 on the license plate in front of us, or look at that house number is 444, right? Because you bring awareness to it, the RAS is like, okay, bring me more synchronicities. So that is how you
mm.
really truly create your reality, is by focusing on the outcome and focusing on what you want more of.
And when we talk about manifesting how powerful the mind is, and we talk about the unconscious energy, and I'm gonna bring it full circle what you was talking about earlier with animals as well. So we have our own unconscious energy that we are experiencing, that's in our first mental sphere in the back of our right lower back right hemisphere in our brain. And we also are connected with one another. So when we go into the dream state, we are actually, when you're dreaming in black, for example, you are experiencing the unconscious energy of the collective. So that's where a lot of the crazy stuff, the nightmares and things are experienced, because it's a culmination of all the energy that we have been putting into our environment. And then when we link up in the astral plane, it's like, hey, look at what we've collected. Well, look at all this junk. And when you can lucid dream, you can actually manifest what it is, because lucid dreaming is taking control of your avatar in the dream state, in the astral planes, when you're sleeping. So then you can create the reality that you want in the dream state, and then manifest that into the physical. Because what happens is, when we go through not remembering our dreams, we actually manifest a lot of unconscious energy into our lives from the collective that's accumulated with our own. So, and here's where the animals come in, because there are practices like dream sewing that the Mesoamericans, the Aztec, the Mayans, the Olmecs utilize, where if you look at the nature of animals, you'll never see a bird do something that a dog does. You'll never see a dolphin do something that a giraffe does, because it's outside of their nature. They always flow with the rhythm of nature, with the rhythm of cosmos, and that is how we stay in purpose, by utilizing that, being in nature, being in purpose, and flowing in what you are meant to do, and not what somebody told you to do or what you were programmed to do. Because when we think about our lives growing up, you weren't really given options on what to believe, on
What
what
to
to
eat,
eat, on how to express yourself.
how to dress.
All of that was imprinted on you. So that was the programming. Now our bodies do need some kind of programming, otherwise we would just be vegetables. So it's taking out that old programming that's not serving us, that old energy, and replacing it with something that's very valuable, something that amplifies us in every aspect of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Y'all caught me daydreaming again. Goodness gracious.
We're gonna take you on that trip, brother.
Hey, I'm telling you. But truly, truly, I'm like at a awe of the opportunity that we have to truly be able to speak about this so freely and openly, because a lot of times it's scary for people,
Mm-hmm.
because to know, right, if I got to take the blame from you and take it off of your back, that I didn't get what I want, or I didn't get what I feel like I deserve because I didn't do what I supposed. It's a lot easier for me to say Ray and Sahat wouldn't have showed up for me to do the podcast. It would have been a lot easier for that versus me saying I'm gonna record and make sure I got everything I need, so when the time is right, I know they're gonna be there. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of it is like you gotta prepare for you to truly get what you've been manifesting, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about, like you were speaking earlier, that momentum, that build up. Because if you don't truly get in alignment for what it is that you want, you're gonna miss the whole stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who wants to miss the stop time and time and time again? Like, we know the indicators be going off. You feel them. I felt them.
And you know what it is? Why people continuously missing their stop?
Why?
Because they scared to get off. They don't know what's going to be on the other side.
But the awesome thing about embracing that fear, you can't experience fearlessness without experiencing fear itself.
Just and I want to bring it back to what you said earlier about that inner child. The inner child is so important because life has conditioned you. Life has programmed you. Your society, your schools, your family, your friends, your relationships, all of the pain that you've gone through in life, it has programmed you. And with you having and carrying around all of those programs, it's hard to embrace fearlessness. You remember when you was a kid, you would jump off of a tree, you would do
Oh yeah,
anything.
all
You
type
would
of crazy stuff.
fearless.
Oh,
You
that
know, I
energy.
am invincible. You know, but the older you get, the more you contemplate your mortality. Why is that? It's because you're being programmed to.
Mm-hmm.
So when you embrace that inner child and you go back to that inner child, you are closer to manifesting freely and with ease because you're susceptible to change. You are
Facts.
not afraid of what's going to come next because you know that everything is taken care of for you. You know your meal is going to come. You know your roof is over your head. You know you got warm blankets in your bed, clothes to wear tomorrow. You're not
Man.
worried about any of that stuff. But as an adult, we forget, and we, oh, I got to be responsible for this and this, and we forget to have fun, we forget to enjoy, we forget to attack our dreams. And I want to be, as a kid, I want to be a the president of the United States, and it's like it was real for you.
Yeah, like you was him.
Right, that's not how you play astronauts, and like your imagination. And 19 Keys said this: the most powerful nation in the world is the imagination.
Oh, that's that one.
Tap in, tap in, because that is what's going to create what's happening around you. So if you're in a space right now where you're unhappy, you struggling, you're trying to overcome some kind of challenge, go back to playfulness. Like Sahat said, look, we had a rough week last week. It was rough, but it was also amazing. Like,
What?
yeah, it's crazy because we were putting together this online summit, and the universe just kept testing our mastery the entire time. We over here trying to teach people how to integrate mind, body, and spirit to take them to their next level of mastery. And it's like, oh, okay, well, let's see how much of a master you are. You know what I'm saying? And we just had to be like, how many tests? Like,
Hey,
how
plenty on,
many?
plenty on. Hey, that thing said we got the whole clip. We about to empty it. You really want it,
Right.
or you want it?
So, you know what I'm saying? So, it was a challenging week, but it was also the most fulfilling week because we overcame all of those challenges. Not even a lot, all of them. Literally every single one,
Let's grow.
universe threw at us. And there was one moment where I'm not gonna lie to y'all, we ain't gonna front, like real talk. I broke down. I was like bawling. And he was like, "Have you ever," and I love you so much. He was like, "Have you ever celebrated in a moment that was like horrible?" That wasn't his words, but like when life gives you lemons, what do we make? Millions.
Oh my gosh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And
So he was like, "Have you ever celebrated in a moment where you just like everything was going wrong?" And I was like, "No," like crying, "No." He was like, "Let's do it." And so that completely changed my state, and that's the key. Like, we're human, we have human experiences, we go through tough moments, but the alchemy comes in when you're able to change that, to transmute that into something that is going to serve you and not keep you behind those bars, keep you in prison, keep you in that mindset of repeating old cycles.
And allow me to plant this seed because we are talking about the inner divine child. When you really fully embrace that inner divine child, you become immortal. And I mean that divine alchemist within you that's also that inner child grows so many new cells. It raises your vibration to the point where you unify with that God within. And there are beings to this day that, and I mean families, not just like, oh, these are ascended masters. They all are ascended masters. You have families of beings who, when they transition or when they die, they take their bodies with them. These beings will be like, they'll look like they're 30, 40, maybe 50 years old and be hundreds of years old. We're talking about beings who taught John the Baptist, still on this planet. I'm just gonna plant that seed right there because it's gonna marinate and grow. And that self mastery, when you get to that point where like, man, he said something about being immortal, like it's that inner child.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. In the Bible, they talk about how people was living for 900 years. Father
Thousands of
Abraham
years.
Oh,
had
let's and
many
listen.
sons.
See,
You know what I'm saying?
they was talking about that when I had went to service when I went to church Saturday. The Bible is the way they translated time in reference to different books or different time periods of the Bible. One day, like you just said, he was 9 years old and about 900 years old. In that time of him being 900 in the Bible, that could have been our human years of 70, 80 years. Because the essence or the ideal of time, it's only man, it's man-made.
It is.
It's an ideal, it's an ideology because it's what you believe. Like if I say time doesn't exist and I truly believe time doesn't exist, my age is null and void. I'm just an existing being that has matured. I don't have to put you don't have to put these different parameters on things just because somebody's told you that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful part about each and every one of us being conscious is we get to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And your
I didn't mean to cut you off in my
no,
Oh
no,
no,
you're
no,
absolute.
amazing.
This is a conversation.
Yes.
Your cells are listening. So if you say, "Oh well, you know, I'm getting up there. I'm getting old. My back is cracking."
Man.
That's your purchase order.
And what ages people actually is that they celebrate age. So every year you're conditioned to celebrate your birthday. Oh, I'm 1 year closer to death. I'm 1 year older.
I start
But
counting decades. Like I'm 3
Man.
now. I'm
you have
3.
you have people
No
out there,
cap.
right? You have people out there that have no technology as far as what we have. They don't have clocks, they don't have calendars like we have. So they don't have a concept of time like the people, the indigenous people in the Amazon. They just live in nature. And when they had scientists go out there and they actually found some of these tribes, they had a very challenging time really dating how old some of these beings are because for one they don't have birthdays, they don't celebrate birthdays, they don't have that construct that ages them, so people that looked like they were 30, 40 years old were actually like 70, 80 years old
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't allow themselves to age. They just flowed with nature. There wasn't like, man, I'm getting older, man, I'm too old for this. Like,
I don't even like hearing that no more.
hey, I say I'm too etheric. I'm too cosmic for this.
And you can use your words to reverse age. Like
Absolutely.
I truly believe that.
yeah, like I say, your cells are listening. The cell was created to regenerate. Okay.
Mm.
So the reason, like, if you were to cut off a finger right now, it would not grow back. The reason being is because you believe that it can't.
Mm.
You know, I've seen so many crazy miracles of people that have overcome so many health challenges based on a level of belief, right? You have to believe first and then exclaim it to be true. And you're the commander of your ship. When you tell the crew of your ship, hey, we are regenerating, and that's what I love about this book because it talks about how to regenerate cells,
Mm.
even from terminal illness. The Master Cleanse, y'all. Check it out. It's like $7 on Amazon by
What's the name of
Stanley.
that book?
The Master Cleanse by Stanley Burroughs.
Okay.
Yeah. It's lit. It's and what it is your body is so multidimensional. So when you talk to your DNA, when you talk to your cells, you can trigger certain things in your DNA based on different lifetimes. Did you say we ain't gonna get into lifetimes? But all of
Not this episode, Ray. Not this episode. They not. I don't think they're ready to travel to that. We gotta.
We
We
got to
want
inch him in. We got to inch him in. We got
Well,
it.
we could talk about, let's expunge on the DNA,
It's all
because
stored in there though.
let's learn how to communicate with our DNA. So the first and the ninth layer in your DNA structure are your healing layers. They are tied to your natural body's healing.
So you have 13 layers of your DNA.
So you, when you talk about your first layer of your DNA, your biological layer, communicate with it like this: Dear layer one, my biological layer, the cells of my body hold the templates and blueprints for perfect health. I am filled with vitality, and I am youthing every day,
Hmm.
every plasma.
I have on
Just that simple.
my affirmations right here. I'm youthing every day.
like
Absolutely.
that. And y'all just gave me a really, really great gym. We're gonna talk about it offline. We
We got
flowing.
you. We
Flow.
got
Let's flow.
Let's
you. Let's
flow.
flow.
And like, man, like I'm truly, truly in awe of the fact of, at first I used to kind of think of myself as a being that was very, very different, right? And I know I'm different, but in the sense of how I was moving back when I was moving that way, and then overstand of what I was really doing. But I have ghetto twins. If you guys didn't know, y'all know what ghetto twins are, right?
Talking about the Geminis.
No, not no, no. It's
Oh,
my
okay.
my sons are 5 months apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
That's
was
fun.
like, huh?
That's funny.
Yeah. So I was like, man, like what am I doing, right? But then I said, hmm, the fact of that my sons are still in their subconscious living before that, most of their because I know y'all know, being what's another thing I want to talk to y'all about too. As y'all know, if y'all did know, that most every child's subconscious mind is formed between the age of 1 and 7 with most of his habits. So my sons are 5 now, and with this spiritual awakening and enlightenment, I had around 4 with them. So how y'all were talking about me truly speaking, or each and every one of us speaking to our DNA, I'm able to do it in the flesh twice. Now think about this. I'm changing my trajectory in my real time. Also being awake, intentional, and proactive with changing another guaranteed generations of 2 sons of my own lineage from 2 separate dwellings or beings or women. Now that will create a whole entirely different service program DNA response of 2 different great beings that will have the abundant opportunity to multiply on this dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that is why I gave them the definition and title of new life. Because what is new life? Taking something that is old, combining it with something that is new and different, and combining it to create something entirely new. And I'm like, Destine, you got an opportunity right here with the boys. You got an opportunity with the boys, because I had an overstanding of never really having the most effective communication with my father. And I'm big on like family and stuff like that, but I'm also big on respect. So we're not going to get those two twisted. We're going to get those two mingled.
Mhm.
And I had to realize that my actions were in alignment with my father's actions, in which the same age my sons and I were in this dimension. So with me having this awakening opportunity, I put a stop to that very, very abruptly once I understood what was really happening. And then I adopted this new opportunity of enlightenment throughout this experience to truly change the trajectory of those 2 young men's life forever and mine's, because the way my son and I, my oldest son, he was over here this weekend. We was playing Monopoly, and his upbringing is something on which is indifferent from my overstanding and liking. So while I'm with him in these weekends of short time, I make that time worth more than a week than he ever gets to spend with his other family. So we get the opportunity to truly communicate, not as him as a 4 year old or 5 year old and me as a 25-year old, but us as two beings truly learning to articulate, communicate, and understand each other's perspective and mentioning. So he loves to play Monopoly, and he's only 5, but he always wants to play Monopoly. And I'm like, board games are like a version of reality that you get to play, but you get to have more control over. But really, you got the same control. You just don't realize. You just don't understand it in this moment. So we was having a situation where he wants to play the game all the time. So I'm like, you want to play the game? You're gonna learn to set up your own board. You're going to learn to separate your money. You're going to learn to separate these properties. You're going to learn to put everything in the proper pile. So for his breakthrough, I had him really print out his own money in the sense of, okay, you're saying you want to buy this property for $225. You're going to go through your stack. You're going to pull out each bill and you're going to tell me which one is for which. So now you actually understand your whole equation. So can't nobody just give you something and say, this is that, this is gold. No, my whole theory of teaching him how to play Monopoly is to truly think through every challenge of the board game. And that's simply what I wanted him to realize as a 5 year old, because again, remember, his subconscious is going to be damn near created by the time he's 7. So whatever isn't instilled in him by the age of 7, whatever isn't instilled in your child by the age of 7, if you are not willing to fight within that first 1 to 7, you better be willing to damn go to war with the coming after, because at 7 they get a level of consciousness to really be able to talk back and say, hold up, that don't make sense. They do it now at these younger ages, but if you're able to really explain to them on their level of experience, then they're like, oh, and then it's locked in. Cause we was riding he was riding his bike, right? And we was pedaling up a hill. Well, I was walking, and my mom's neighborhood. We was just riding through the neighborhood, and he kept one. I let him navigate the neighborhood. I said, "Son, we should go this way so we can go back to the house." He said, "No, but this way to the house." I said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah, I'm sure." I said, "Run it." Okay, you said it. We gonna walk it. So he's riding his bike, and it's getting hard for him. That leg they starting to kick in on him. I said, "Hold up." He sat there and he cried. He had one of your moments, Ray. He cried. But I pulled us a hot and I said, son, this is a time of celebration. This is a time of breakthrough for you. Because I really, really understand that you want to give up right now because you're not used to the pain in which you have caused yourself because of a challenge that you have not yet embarked on truly. But me as your father, as your leader, and as your guidance, I'm here to tell you that you can truly do it. Is you have to fight through the pain. Because that breaking point where you bust that pain in the mouth and you now on the other side of that pain, like I told you I was gonna bust you in the mouth because you kept playing with me. You got busted in the mouth, so now we in this situation. Now let's grow. Now let's grow. And once you bust through that obstacle, you're like, damn, this how good it feel on this other side. Now my boy be standing up, pedaling up the hills. We went to the park the other day. That boy hit the hill. That boy stood up on the bike. I said, "You go, son." He said, "What?" I said, "What we say?" He said, "I do not quit on myself." And I was like, "That's the breakthrough That's the breakthrough and what I wanted to create in that experience."
I love that. I
Wow.
love
That's
that.
powerful.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because now every time he ever comes face to face with a challenge, he'll always remember that moment on his bike when he stopped, he cried, but daddy was there to instill in him, I do not quit on myself.
Wow. I just got
Mm,
goosebumps.
that's profound.
Yeah.
That is so profound. And think about how you're raising your children differently compared to your ancestors, the people that came before you, how your parents were raised. That's breaking them generational cycles and creating something that really amplifies and allow your children to grow.
Instead of instilling fear, you are instilling confidence.
Yes, that part.
Facts. And what we just did, he and I broke the alchemy of our DNA forever.
Oof.
Okay.
Come
We
on.
just broke it forever. Like, and we've been flowing for an hour. I feel like we just started. I only asked y'all 3 real questions. Y'all done took over my whole podcast show. Goodness gracious, do you see how energy flows, y'all?
That
Like,
part.
and it's not even about who taking over what, but it's about, like I said when I first created this. If y'all don't know, my granddaddy, he used to be back on the radio show back in the early 60s in Atlanta. I didn't notice until I created the podcast. He told me the time. You gotta go look at the episode with he and I. But he that's how powerful DNA is. My granddaddy, my dad's dad was on the radio show a long time ago and didn't really have his breakthrough moment.
Mm-hmm.
But with us being in the time period of we create our own reality, I'm reliving through him full circle with the podcast.
Wow.
Because I don't need you to tell me I can be on your show. I make my own show.
That part.
Okay.
And they can't tell us what we're going to talk about on the Steady Stepping podcast because we flowing.
Absolutely.
I wish you would. You don't monetize me. You don't want to spend no advertisement dollars on the show to connect to our audience. I don't care because we're going to have an abundance of life, period. It ain't about the bag. It's about the impact. If I
Yes.
touch my people and I change my people going to take care of me even if it's outside of money because money really has no value. Paper currency that is printed at the Federal Reserve is fake. But that's a whole nother podcast. Let's flow back on this energy though. Because
Look, because you was finna get me started.
listen, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody that I have on the show is just an intro episode because y'all, everybody coming back because our energy is just really connected. And this show, like I was just writing it down downstairs, like this show is a gateway. This show is going to be a gateway for so many beings that didn't know how. It's not about the how, it's about the who you need to become. So when your how is ready for you, no, not when your how is ready for you, when you ready for your how, because your how already there. You just need to get to your how.
You need to know the why. That's
Hello.
what's gonna drive you.
That's gonna create the who. The why. Like I didn't understand my why before. The first 12-week year really showed me my why was weak. If you got a weak why, it's not gonna make you cry. And you think it's gonna help you fly, but it's not. It's really a lie. Damn, am I rhyming like that?
Okay.
That's recorded, y'all. That's recorded.
That was a bar.
That was recorded. But for real, your why gonna make you cry, which will teach you how to fly. Because I was listening. Oh, it was me and I think it was Gigi and I talking about. Somebody was talking to me about how they sat there and watched a bird learn to fly. And I feel like our why truly creates the wing, the flap up under our wings to make us fly. Because our why is that thing that really makes you not scared, but it makes you aware that if you don't become somebody different, that why isn't going to become a reality.
I would love to expand on that.
Please do.
Okay, so Myron Golden talks about be, do, have. Being is the input for doing, and doing is the input for having. So what does that mean? Exactly what you said. If you don't become somebody different, that why is not going to drive you. And the reason being is because you're not going to take the action. You're not going to do the things that's required to get the things that you want. You're not going to have the lifestyle that you're looking for because you didn't do the things. But you're not going to do the things unless you become first. Be is the prefix for believe, for become, right? And you have to first be. For example, you want to be a millionaire. Are you operating from $50,000 habits?
I used to operate on 20,000.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you want to be a millionaire. You have to be the millionaire first. What do millionaires do? And that's when I started my journey in 2014, I studied millionaires. They have a very specific regimen and routine. Mind, body, and spirit. It is essential to success. It is essential to success, right? So you have to first become that person. You out here looking for love, but you talking about how, oh, niggas ain't this and niggas ain't that. Let's be real. Let's keep it 100 right now. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? You have to bring awareness to who you'd like to become. I had a client, I was talking to her last week, and she was just like, she has a certain type, F boys. That's what she called them. And I was like, first of all, change your bracelet and change your bracelet. Whenever you say something that's disempowering or something, that's your purchase order. You got to change your bracelet because that's not what we are manifesting here.
I like that.
Right? I have this bracelet. It literally, shout out Adam Rhonda and Marilyn Harper. Um, everything, you can't see it, but it says everything is possible. Not anything is possible. Everything is possible. Right?
Ooh.
So anytime you say something that is against this statement, oh, well, I can't do that. Change your bracelet. Change your bracelet. Put it on the other wrist. And then you change the statement to everything is possible. Right? Anyway, that was a little tangent. But I was telling her, she was like, I have a certain type, And I was like, the thing is, you have to bring awareness to who you'd like to become first. The woman that you aspire to be, or the man that you aspire to be, right? Is that person out here just sleeping with everybody? Just, she was like, well, it's not that. She's like, I know that I can have them, so I get them. I said, just because you can have something doesn't mean that everything you can have is something that you need to have. You
Mm.
know, just because you can get it doesn't mean that's something that you need. I tell females all the time, because they're like, oh, well, the D was so good. Every man got D. The dude at 7-Eleven got D. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody got it. But it's about more, it's more than that. Just because you can get that doesn't mean that it's worth having.
Mm.
So you have to first become. I said, the person that you want to be, what is her behavior like? And really ask yourself that. The person I'd like to become, this millionaire I'd like to become, this island owner that I'd like to become, what behaviors, what does their day-to-day look like? What does their habits look like? Do you possess those same habits? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. You have to become first, and that is going to inspire the doing. Once you mentally are there, and every millionaire will tell you, I was a millionaire here before I ever seen the money. It starts here. And then that'll inspire the doing. Then they start to do millionaire stuff. You know what I mean? Which will then attract the things you'd like to have. Be, do, have. That is the formula. Become first. Then
Mm.
allow the massive action to take place. And of course, that action sometimes is going to scare you. And that's fine.
And it should, as it should, because if it don't scare you, I mean, it don't make you aware.
It
How you
doesn't
think somebody,
stretch you.
right?
You
Because how
don't
you think
grow.
somebody know not to touch the stove when the fire on? It's the same instance, right?
Absolutely.
Like if you don't have that moment of awakening, you don't have that moment of really getting burnt. You ain't gonna never know it exists. So you're not gonna know that potentially, if I don't use this, it could harm me.
Mhm.
Like really, really begin to go into a state of, I would say, like reprogram, like just a reset, like really reset, just shut down, let the system reboot, and when you turn it back on, make every single key that is pushed be pushed with intentionality and determination to really become who it is that you want to become. Because if you continue to run that same program, damn, I got this from Myron Golden. If you continue to run that same software, you trying to run new software on that old computer, you're gonna crash the computer and blow it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still gonna have to reboot and rebuild. But instead of rebooting, you're gonna have to rebuild. So you want to reboot or rebuild, or you want to do both?
Mm.
Come on now. Shout out Myron Golden.
Right.
Now, for real, shout out to him. He got to come on. He coming on the podcast too,
That's
for
right.
sure.
I know that's right.
That's right.
Hey, everything is possible. Shout out to Ray and that quick gem. That seed she just planted because she just told me everything is possible. So if everything possible, I'm gonna manifest via words and spells on what I want, on what I desire.
This is the way.
Really, is this the way, brother?
Shout out Mandalorian.
I don't even know who that is, but they said shout out to you, so shout out to you.
That's look it up. If you don't know what it is, it's all good.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, let's talk about it. But we listen. This is just an intro to your favorite spiritual couple and the Steady Stepping podcast. So we just hanging out and we just flowing, and we're gonna have because I like the way we flow. So again, like I say, when we be doing podcasts with people, most 9 times out of 10, the people coming back on the show because this is just a gateway, so we can really, really connect and change so many more lives, and not even lives, because we're not lives, we're spirits. So this avatar body this flesh, my bad, this fleshly body that we're in, this is just a capsule.
You could say avatar.
Mm-hmm.
See, then people are like, oh, you're crazy. No, I'm not. Look at Avatar. Look at the resemblance of the Avatar body and look at our body. They're blue, we're brown, or whatever color that your skin is. It's still, you're a spirit. You are a spirit and a source of energy that is in that vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And your consciousness resides elsewhere.
And also within.
Right. Both.
Multidimensional.
Right? It is very similar to the structure of the movie Avatar.
But see, they think the movie just a movie to look good and they want to make a profit.
Let me tell you something about these movies. They be telling you the truth.
But they put it in a movie.
They hide it in plain sight.
So when you see it, you be like, I'm tripping.
Right.
Well, that was the whole point when Ron Parson, Aleister Crowley, and Madame Blavatsky came up with the idea of motion pictures was to hide the truth in plain sight. So when people saw something on film that was like, yo, that's real, people would be like, man, that's just a movie.
That's just on TV. They used to call it programming.
Predictive
I gotta watch my programs. My grandma used to say that all the time. One Life to Live, General Hospital, and All My Children. That was
my grandma watching those downstairs. But you know why they call it television, right? My grandma be watching
television. Television.
Hello.
Ooh, come on now. Listen, okay, so we got to do a take two, like
we're gonna do a take. We're gonna do a take flowing. We're gonna, cause I like to start segments with certain people. Like my brother and my best friend, my sister, and a couple other people. We got a version because now when greatness is great, everybody wants to be a part of it. So now they're like, okay, we're gonna start another segment of the podcast. You just gonna upload it, and then you manage the show. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna get the profits and we just record together, and then I just make sure I fund the event with the profit that we're making off the show. Let's grow. Let's get it. So this one is called the Certified Stepping edition of the Steady.Stepping Podcast because my brother's a certified stepper. And I never got into the story of how I came up with the Steady.Stepping Podcast name, y'all. So y'all want to hear how I came up with the name?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Okay. So this is the first time I've ever told anybody, I think, on the show. So the Steady.Stepping Podcast name came from y'all know I came from the transportation and logistics industry. And I was a certified outlaw. So everybody knows what an outlaw is. If you don't, look it up, whatever. But the Steady Stepping name came from Steady Stepping was supposed to be my CB handle. A CB handle is when you come on the radio, they say, who we got coming up, driver? And I would say, got Steady Stepping coming at your back door, driver. Come on. So that was initially my handle. And my dad was like, that handle too long. You can't say Steady Stepping on the radio. I'm like, why not? That's just how I slide. And Steady Stepping was because of my mentality on the slab. me in that process of getting my CDL was such a mind-blowing experience because it took me 3 years to get a license with over 9 test attempts.
Mm.
So in that period, I just knew I knew in my mind I was gonna get them, but the state tried to tell me I couldn't have them. So I said, okay, watch me not have them. I don't need your permission to do what I know I can do already. You get what I'm saying? So I always said keep it steady because no matter if I would fail a test, no matter if somebody told me I couldn't drive, no matter if the police locked me up, I was going to keep growing because I was going to keep going to the destination that I already had predetermined before I put this load on my back. Because stop trying to get permission from people that's not even qualified to certify you. How you going to let somebody tell you what you can do?
Okay.
We got the same 24 hours that every great being has ever had in this existence of this universe. So how you going to let somebody tell you what you can do? If you bleed just like they bleed and you can plant a seed like they can plant a seed, you can grow a tree. Stop looking for permission from people that's not even nobody. Only
Come
person you should look for permission from is yourself. I tell me what I can do. I let you think you can tell me what I can do, but I'm gonna do it regardless. I ask for forgiveness, not permission.
That part.
I
Cause
live
I'm
by
one of them ones. What are you gonna do? Really, what are you gonna do? You lock me up, I'm still free in my mind. If I you if once I transition, I'm even more free out of this fleshly vessel. So when you make up in your mind that you're not going to ask for permission, you're going to ask for forgiveness. You don't even need forgiveness if you didn't really harm anybody. These feelings and these citations, they have no value. Your say so has only the value in which you allow it to have in your life. And when I say that, if somebody tell you you can't do something, you can only not do it when you accept what they told you. Go run my sheet. They're gonna tell you that I couldn't tell this man not to drive this truck. We're gonna have to catch him lacking. That's the only way he gonna stop it. And he not gonna stop it. He just gonna slow it down to come to court. Then he back grinding. Because he knows his destination. He knows that no matter what, long as that thing crank up and the wheels turn and let the fields burn, we gonna earn everything that was already given to us. This is yours for the taking. But if you're not gonna be serious and if you're not gonna intentionally be conscious about what you're doing to go get it, somebody else gonna take it and then spoon feed it to you and say, "Oh, this is just what I allowed you to have." When really it was already given to you. They trying to be Debo.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to Debo you out of your inheritance.
Mm.
Damn, I'm going too hard. Let me chill out. Let me chill out because
Mm.
it's this gonna be the drop. But listen. Watch how you flowing and you gonna see how you growing. For real though. Damn, y'all got me feeling some type of. We're gonna have to come back because
You you
then
about to
listen,
write a song? You gonna write a
listen.
rap
I ain't writing a song. I want
verse?
to write a book. Matter of fact, I want to make a movie.
Okay.
Let's run it.
Let's run it. Y'all run it. I
Run
got
it.
my light. I got my camera. We gonna post. We gonna this a movie right here. Hey,
Yo,
part
listen.
one. We gonna have a part. We gonna have so many parts coming. We gonna have our own sequel on the show. This gonna be Watch How You Flow on the Steady Stepping Podcast. We just named it. Y'all, this the segment name. Watch How You Flow on the Steady Stepping Podcast.
I love
I
it.
See,
love that.
see.
Also,
Okay,
we're
good.
coming down to Atlanta next month. Well,
Next month, March.
April,
Yeah,
April,
April,
April.
April, beginning of
Well, let
April.
me know ahead of time so we can flow, and we definitely gonna put it together. Oh, they got a podcast coming, y'all.
What you
Did
mean?
y'all tell them? Y'all told them already?
About the
Oh, our
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
y'all
do
podcast.
have a
Yeah.
yeah, we have a spiritual circle now. It's called Cosmic Convos, where we talk about relevant topics that expand our awareness and grow us on a spiritual, mental, emotional level. So we implement daily meditations. We have the heated topic of the day, and then we lead into some rituals and some channelings from one of our star brothers.
Yeah, it's a true space of healing, connections, and cosmic conversations. So you can check us out. We're going to start posting the podcast coming up in the next couple weeks. But if you want to join us live, you can join us live as well. For now, where should we send them? Because we're about to build. We're building it right now, but we can send them to
We can send them to the website.
Oh,
Collective
y'all
Co.
fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to collectiveco.info. That's collective, collective.info. And yeah, all our information is on there.
Man, so let's flow, let's grow while you continue to come get your spiritual, your mental, and your physical energy of greatness.
That
And all
part.
we want to do is just really plant a seed, y'all, because at the end of the day, you have to make a conscious decision that you really want to go to your next level. And that's why I just keep I like to keep coming back on the podcast because as you know, every time I come back on the show, I'm speaking from a higher vibration. And the reason I the reason I record not is because I want to make money off of it, but because I want to track my progress and I also want to show people how to start literally from doing it ugly as hell. Like I had so many excuses that I wanted to use, but my new brain and my new being said those excuses are going to be the fuel to each and every episode.
Mm.
Like each and every episode, I could have came up with an excuse on why it wasn't uploaded, but I said that excuse is my reason exactly why I will upload this episode.
Okay.
I got one episode, y'all. I was going in and out of a conscious state to make sure I uploaded an episode for the people to know that when you make a decision, you got to do it if you dead damn tired. Not to make short on a promise that you kept to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew I had a show. So I was working, I was doing a trade show and I had worked the trade show. I went to church, then I went skating. I got off skating like super late, but I had to be back up for the show at 6 the next rising. I got home at like 1 a.m. Dead tired. I didn't have an episode recorded, but this is also my fault because I didn't pre-record, so I didn't have to put myself in a situation. But I was in the situation, so now we're gonna make this a real relationship and change it to be great. So I said, you know what? We finna drop some heat real quick. No cap. I put it me falling asleep on the camera just to show you me just making a decision to upload and grow, and it was still some heated episode regardless. But it was just the whole experience was just so amazing because when you commit to yourself, y'all, everything else is just gonna happen and really fall in place. And thank y'all, Ray and Sahat, for coming on the show again and blessing us with y'all presence. Any closing remarks or gems that y'all want? Matter of fact, I want both of y'all to leave, well, to close the show out with a gem that the people can really feast on.
Absolutely.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first, love.
Okay, so the biggest thing is you have to unlearn and relearn everything. What they taught you in school, that was a lie. What they taught you growing up, that was a lie. What they taught you in church, most of it was a lie. Some of it's true, but they be stretching stuff. But you have to unlearn. You got to unlearn and relearn. And the most important thing is do not listen to people. If you have a dream, God gave you that dream, not everybody else. So don't listen to people who don't have what you want because they will only steer you in a direction that you don't want to go.
Hello.
We created an ebook. Matter of fact, can we give your audience something for free?
Oh, we love the free skis. Come on, bless the people.
Yeah. So we created an ebook, 7 biggest mistakes after your awakening. Okay. One of them, I'm not going to give you all 7, but one of them is listening to people that don't have what you want. So you can get this ebook for free just by going to 7, spiritualmistakes.com. 7spiritualmistakes.com. And you can get that free ebook right now.
Hey,
Absolutely.
make sure y'all go get that ebook for real though, cause it's free, not for the fee, and it's not for me. It's for you.
That part.
What's your gym?
So I would say communication is key. Not just how you communicate with others that leads to those healthy boundaries, but also communicating with yourself, with your cells, because your cells have an intelligence to them called your innate, and that goes into your healing process. So the more you communicate with your body that you are healthy, wealthy, and wise, it imprints that energy, because we're talking about programming. You're programming your mind to accept the highest version of yourself.
Mm,
So I'm gonna just say that and say vibrate in your magnificence.
and living your purpose.
Please do, because guess what? It's so much room at the top. It's so much room up here, y'all. Like, I was talking to one of my bros. He's a newfound bro. He's a new spiritual bro too. He's younger than me, and he's having the same awakening. And I'm like, bro, do you realize the position that you are currently in at 20 years old?
Oh wow,
Mm.
yeah.
He 20, y'all.
Tell him to go to sevenspiritualmistakes.com. We got him.
Mm-hmm.
We
I'm gonna
got
send him
him.
that way. I'm gonna send him that way. So again, peace and blessings to each and every one of y'all for tapping into the Steady Stepping podcast. And let us know how y'all flowing in the comments. If you really got some information that you're ready to take from this conversation and really help you go to the new height that you want to be at. Because, man, you deserve it. I know you deserve it, and I know you're gonna get there. It's just how long, like Gigi said, you're gonna take 6 years or 6 months. Because you got to start. Don't take 6 years to start something you can start in 6 months. Because then you put yourself so much further behind.
It's true. These 6 months gonna go by anyway.
Real quick.
You know, when you
Hello.
look 6 months ago, if you would have been doing something, you would have been there by now.
At least a third of the you would have been further than where you started at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You look like, damn, that far, that start kind of far. But guess what happened if you repeat that 6, 12, what is that, 18, 24? Then you had 24 months, like, dang. That 6 months ago was what, 6 months ago? But damn, look at the progress and the growth.
And you know, yeah, it compounds. It compounds, and that time goes fast. That time
Doesn't it?
goes fast.
Absolutely.
Man. So again, we're gonna close the show out for real this time, y'all. Because if
Yeah.
not, we're gonna be here. We're gonna keep being here. But peace and blessings to y'all again, my all the steady steppers out there. Remember, nobody can certify you but yourself. Everybody's qualified, but not everybody is certified. I can't certify you. I don't even want to certify you. I'm certifying myself to be a steady stepper. So you got to do your own certification paperwork and file it with the state. Put them on notice that you certified, and yeah, everything else gonna flow your way because it's already yours. You just got to go take it. Stop letting people spoon feed it to you. Do you hear me? So we out of here. I'm about to end this live thing on here. We're gonna do the thing Dizzle and let's grow
Blessings.
Love y'all.
for sure. Let's see how you stop this thing.
It should say end right at the top.
Like
Like
the X.
end, nah, end live,
Oh, let me see.
top right, I think.
Top right. Ooh. End stream. There we go. Are
Yeah.
you sure? End this stream.